Well, here we are. We're almost at the end of the semester, and so I thought we would talk about titles. So we're gonna just do out some titles for you. All of your pieces going to need to have some sort of title on there, just for grading purposes. So here's some suggestions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit R for the rectangle tool, and the rectangle tool shows up right here on the left hand side of the screen. And I'm just going to make a rectangle about the correct size here. And then I'm just going to select it, and I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to change my title screen to black. You can use whatever. I'm just going to change that to black, and then I'm going to just copy it. I'm going to go into insert, new symbol. I'm just going to call it background, as long as you don't have another background, or you can just call it title background. Okay, and then click OK, and then paste, and then use the arrow to go back to your main scene. So you're at scene 1. Now we can get rid of that guy. We can just go into library. We can see it's this title background. So I'm just going to drop this down here, make sure it's on there. Okay, now I'm zoomed way out. You can see the whole thing. And then I've just moved in a little bit closer. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my brush to white. So now I'm going to click B for brush, go into properties, and where it has my colors. Yeah, here we go. B for brush. All right, I'm going to click white. So I want to make sure my brush is white. I'm just going to lock. I'm going to lock my my layer, my symbol layer. There's a reason why I made it a symbol, and that's to change from white to black if you want to do that kind of stuff. We've already talked about doing some of that, but now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to write. Oh, I'm going to give this some time, maybe about a second of black. So then I just hit F5, and then I'll be able to add a blank keyframe. About a second. A second's all right. It's a little short, but then you can just write whatever your title is. Okay, and however you want to do that, you can just write title. And then a lot of you guys like to have see it kind of do a little dance. Okay, so we can actually even put some serifs on there if we want to do that, so we can have a title. And then I'm going to make a new keyframe. So I'm just going to go. Actually, I'll just go over 2. I'll just hit F6. Okay, but notice now my screen has gone black, or it's gone from black to white. And so I'm just going to drag that dog out there like that. I also can just hit the F5 keys and it'll push it out. Okay, but I just want to make sure it's there, and then I can just rewrite title. So in this case, I'm just going to delete that only because I want to just redraw it. Okay, so now I can just come back in, make sure I get some serifs on there, boop, boop, and then get into my T for title. I throw some more serifs on. And I can just make my E, which is going to be there. And then pretty soon I'm going to start to see it start to move a little tiny bit. So you can just repeat your keys. I always like to add enough to make it look like it was intentional that I was drawing this stuff. And so I'm just going to add my serif in here. And you'll see your text is going to dance a little tiny bit. A lot of people like that. It looks kind of fun. It's definitely animated when you see it. There's no doubt about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's an animated thing, because your title is moving around. So I'm going to put my E in here. So then pretty soon I can see how it's kind of doing its little bit and saying title. Okay. Now we can copy our frames. So we're going to copy frames. So we can just go into copy frames right here. And then I'm just going to paste the frames. Okay, paste frames. So then you just paste them in like that. And now I can just copy all of them. So I'm going to go and copy the frames, and then I'll just paste them in over here. You'll notice that I'm skipping a frame here so that everything's on 2s. Control Alt V. There we go. And so then we can start to have that title go up. Reason why I'm pushing this out is you want to make sure that every word that you have on screen, you yourself can read twice. Okay. There are a lot of people who read very slowly, and they will, in the middle of the movie, if text come on, they will ask, "What did that say?" They'll lean over to you. And my grandmother used to do that all the time. We'd watch a movie, and then like a note, or somebody would be reading a note or a letter or do something like that. And then she's like, "What does the letter say?" And you have to try and tell her and still watch the movie and that kind of stuff. And so the rule is, if you can read whatever word you put up there twice, then you're okay. Okay, so it is up there long enough for everybody else to read. Okay, if it's up there for so long, like I'm not giving you a frame count because sometimes it's so long, it's like the end or something like that, and it's like the end, and if you said it twice, the end, it's like that's too long. Okay, so then you don't want to insult your audience either. Okay, but now I have this title sequence. It's saying title, and we can just see it. It's like, ooh, title, and it has that little bit of movement to it. You can, of course, draw it as many times as you want to draw it, but I'm just extending this out. So it's just going to be a nice long sequence. And the reason why I'm going to do this big sequence here is you want to say who it's by. Okay, so I'm going to add another layer. So I'm just going to add a new layer, and it's going to say by, or title. I'm going to go right to about there, depending on how long your title is. Okay, and now I'm just going to insert a blank keyframe in here, and I'm going to write by. And that's going to just be on screen, so it should be on there for us long enough to say by. Okay, I'm just going to leave that on there because I like the idea of having the title on there, and then who it's by on there. So now I'm just going to make a new layer, boop, and then we can, we'll want to have this keep going. So I'm just going to copy all those frames now. So just go back, copy all these frames, and a lot of times it's easier just to right click on it, but you can go copy frames, then you can come back over here and you can go paste frames. And now you have a nice long sequence where that is going to do its thing. Oh my gosh, we just lost our black card. So then all you have to do is just push it out again. Okay, same with this guy. Just push it out. Now by, we have on there, I'm going to hit by. Okay, so now we can just go here, and we're going to insert blank keyframe, and then you can write your name. Okay, whatever your name is. So now I've got this title sequence that's going to be right here. I'm just going to have a keyframe on here. I'm just going to clear a keyframe so I can just see that go. And then let's go back and look. I can just do this, hit return, make sure I'm doing it. Okay, title by your name. Okay, and so then we can get on there. And then again, title sequences are all they're part of the flavor of the piece. So if you have a very active piece that's moving around, a lot of action, explosions, and that kind of stuff, you'll probably want to have a nice, big, bold type face that you're going to be using, and maybe the titles go by fairly quickly or active. If you have a very mellow or relaxing piece, then you probably want to have slow moving titles, or titles that are up there for a short amount of, or a longer amount of time. So it all should fit the flavor of the piece. You don't want your title sequence to be too expressive and not have a non-expressive content. Okay, although that is up to you. If you want to trick your audience and think, oh yeah, this is going to be a total action movie, and then it's it's about a snail who's eating a flower or something like that, then there you really need to have a reason to show that juxtaposition. Okay, so let's see. We're going to hit play again. Yep. All right.